Hey guys, we are back at Pocket Gamer Connect's Helsinki 2016. I'm here with Richard Downey from The Specialist Works. Tell me about The Specialist Works.
Okay, so The Specialist Works is a independent advertising agency based in London, but with offices all around the world, including a very newly opened one in New York, which is really exciting.
Okay, fantastic. And what specific areas of this kind of industry do you focus on? Because obviously there are a lot of strands to the whole thing.
So I run the mobile division. So we have a team of mobile user acquisition experts that help clients, app publishers generally, with their UA. Clients across games, gambling, dating, travel, all kinds of sectors. But over and above that, I'm also at the forefront of pushing a quite an exciting and kind of pioneering way of using offline media, especially TV, to drive trackable and accountable app downloads.
That's what I was interested in, because we've had a lot of stuff about people pushing things through ads and through pushing games players to other games within a particular network. You're taking the thing offline and actually doing TV-based advertising. Now, how does that work out? What kind of audience does that attract, and how trackable are the results from it?
Yeah, so there's been a trend over the last couple of years or so for the bigger boys in the world of mobile games to be using TV. So we've all seen Game of War and Mobile Strike and all the others. What got me kind of really interested in this was that these companies that have built their whole business on trackable and optimizable data-led media decisions kind of left all that at the door going into the traditionally untrackable world of TV. So we've worked quite hard to work with the major attribution partners like AppsFlyer, AdjustTune, to try and get to a point whereby we can make TV and the information and results you get from TV similar in terms of detail to that of mobile UA.
Right. So, I mean, just thinking about it from the outside looking in, an advert runs at a certain time on a certain day, and then presumably your software then sets about tracking perhaps spikes in downloads, that sort of thing, and then you actually log the users who do that and work out how they behave differently. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, so we have attribution windows. So we are able to calculate when a TV ad is aired. We're then able to interrogate the organic download data that comes from the attribution partners. And then once we've done some pretty clever modeling of what that app's normal organic download take-up is like, we're able to then confidently attribute specific actions back to TV spots. Right. Then, of course, using the attribution SDKs, not only are we able to match installs to TV spots, but then we're able to follow those users right the way through their lifetime, so we can look at in-app purchases, lifetime value, loyalty, things like that. That's the attribution side of it. So that's using the attribution solutions which were built and are mainly for paid acquisition to really interrogate the organic information and see what we can take out of that. Right. But then what we do with that as well, which is also quite special, is through the way that we buy our TV, we're able to optimize and change direction in terms of the TV ads that we're buying while the campaign is live. So
you can tweak it as you go along, result reaction to the feedback.
Exactly. So if the data tells us that MTV drives more downloads than Comedy Central, then we can look to move the budget into MTV in exactly the same way as people would do with a portfolio of ad networks that we're using.
Okay, and you mentioned that the big boys kind of tend to go towards the TV, and presumably that's to do with advertising budget. They've got the money to spend on their TVs, not cheap. Is the only reason not to advertise on TV simply the affordability of it, or does it not work for everyone?
So there's a couple of reasons. For the likes of Machine Zone and people like that, they see themselves as more than just a strict performance metric, right? They see themselves as an entertainment brand, and therefore an element of branding around TV works for them. But also a big part of it is the fact that, for these guys, they've kind of bought all the mobile ads. They reach a point of saturation whereby they see their cost per install going up, they see their level of response slowing down because the game is so well established that everybody that can be reached by one of their mobile ads has been reached by mobile ads. I don't know about you, but after 50 times I've seen a Game of War ad, I'm either a Game of War player or I'm probably never going to be a Game of War player. So TV offers an enormous, scalable way of reaching an audience that maybe don't see mobile ads. So there is an acquisition element to it, there's a branding element to it. But for smaller games also, we work with a couple of companies that have kind of more female-focused games, and they're not that kind of audience. Let's say kind of soft games. They're not necessarily going to be in places where they see mobile ads. So for some games with certain demographics, actually, one of the first and kind of earliest outreaches in terms of acquisition could be targeted TV. Okay. If you can put a TV schedule together that can reach a certain demographic of people and get it tracked and attributed, for some people, for some games, for some projects, that actually could be as valuable in the early stages as mobile UA.
And this TV for apps, how affordable a solution is this? Is this really going to be limited to slightly bigger companies, or can small indies afford this kind of service, realistically?
For indies, what we say is the cheapest and most effective way of generating users for your game is always going to be via mobile UA. Because of the targeting, because of the retargeting, because of all the clever things that you can do with ad networks these days.
Yeah.
So if you have a game which is mainstream, shall we say, only think about TV when you're certain that you are coming to the end of the point of usefulness for mobile UA.
Right, so it becomes like a next stage in the
when you've
process.
reached that kind of saturation point that we're talking about for the really, really big boys. If your game is niche, okay, so if it's a game which, let's say, is aimed at kids, okay, then mobile UA might not be the right role for that. But actually, some TV targeted in and around kind of kids' TV programming where the parents may get to see that advert and feel reassured that that's a game that's going to be safe for their kid to play, then in that context, TV could be brought on at an earlier stage. But like you said, TV doesn't have to be expensive. It's not all about ITV and Channel 4. There are hundreds and hundreds of kind of smaller audience, slightly more niche, more affordable and more flexible TV channels. So it doesn't have to be millions of pounds to start this stuff.
And if people wanted to get involved, how would they reach you and make contact?
You can reach me at Richard Downey, which is DOWNEY, at thespecialistworks.com.
Okay.
Or our website is www.thespecialistworks.com, and you can find my details on there.
Fantastic. All right, pleasure to meet you, man.
Cheers, thanks.